Hey guys, how's it going? I'm out here at my dad's today, working on the Astro van. Gonna be doing these brakes. I gotta replace the caliper and the rotors and the pads. I'm gonna do this a little bit different than you would if you were just changing your pads and stuff. I'll show you what I'm gonna do here. I'm sorry I can't film it while I'm doing it, but I don't have a way to hold the camera and do this. But if you're going to change your caliper, what you're going to do is you're going to get, you can see this flex line here. It goes down into the back of your caliper, which goes into this little hole right here. There's a bolt that goes through that rubber line there, and it threads right into this hole through there's like a little block on the end of the rubber line, and that threads through it. And what you got are two of these little copper washers, and that's one goes on one side of the head of the bolt and one goes on the other. Or one goes on one side of the block. I'm sorry. The block on the end of the rubber line, and this one goes in the back, and then you just thread it right into that hole right there. And the way these sit is it goes just like this. So this is how your rubber line will sit. It'll come right up this little groove here. Just like, I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's how that one is. Comes straight up here. So when you take this apart, your fluid's gonna run out of the line like crazy, and it don't matter if you hold it up here or down here, it's just gonna run out. So you gotta do it as fast as you can so you don't lose all your brake fluid. This bolt, I don't know, I'll try to get there's a bolt right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's 11 millimeter. That's what I found that would work on it. So when you get these calipers, there'll be this little plug in this hole in there. You just pull that out, throw it away. These bolts here are it's a 7/8 inch, whatever you want to call that, Allen wrench. That's what fits it. I don't have, well I got this one, but it's too long. As you can see, I can't get in behind there, so I'm gonna go and try to find a socket at the parts store that size so that I can do that, and then I'll have it for the next time I gotta change the pads. These ones really ain't bad, but this rotor, one of these rotors up front are shot. It's warped really bad, so I'm just gonna change everything and get it done. So once I get this line pulled off of here and put on the new one, I'll bring you back and show you what I did. Okay guys, so I'm back. It's been a little bit. I was having a hell of a time with this. I think I got it to quit leaking. I actually ran out of brake fluid because I couldn't get the damn thing to quit leaking. What I ended up doing is these little copper washers. It was leaking where the bottom one was right here. Sorry, right here. I have a, you got a kit. You can buy these at Harbor Freight for a couple bucks. You know, you get all different sizes in there. What I ended up doing is, luckily they had another set of copper washers in there. I ended up using them once, and I had to double copper washer, this bottom underneath this block here, right where the caliper is. I don't know if you can see it, but right there you can see I had to put 2 copper washers in there to get it to quit leaking. I added more fluid to the reservoir. I'm just kind of letting it trickle down through. I did open the bleeder. There was some brake fluid dripping out of it, so I'm just gonna let this sit for now like this. I gotta run in town and get one of them sockets with an Allen wrench on it so I can get these broke free from that. As you can see, it soaked everything, so you know it's not an easy thing to do, but unless you can get it to quit leaking right away. But usually it don't. It leaks like a sieve. I know the other side I replaced this rubber line, and we couldn't get it to quit leaking. Couldn't get it. Finally, after wrenching the hell out of it, it finally did quit. But hopefully I don't have that problem again. But that's where I'm at right now. That's how you do it. And if you were just going to put this back on, you put your pads in it, put it back on there, and tighten the bolts back up, and you'd be good to go. But I'm only a little bit through this, so I got a ways to go yet. So I'll bring you back when I start tearing the rest of this apart. So we'll see you then. Bye. I'm back. As you can see, I got the caliper off, ran in town, got in socket. This is what I got: 3/8 inch Allen wrench on a socket. This and that thing of brake fluid was $15 at Napa, so that wasn't too bad. As you can see, the pads are getting pretty bad there. The front one's still pretty good, but the back one's about short. One of these calipers I think are sticking pretty bad. So, but one nice thing about these, this is all-wheel drive, by the way, not two-wheel drive. One nice thing about these, normally on a vehicle you'd have a bracket that runs right here to hold your caliper on, and you have to take the bolts out of the back and pull that off. But with these, there isn't one. You just take your rotor right off. There you go. It's done. This is built right into this piece here, so you're good to go. That's all you have to do is take the 2 5/8 Allen things out, and your rotor will fall right off. So I checked the wheel bearing. There's no play in it at all, which is great. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean all this off. I got a wire brush there. I'm going to try to get as much of this crap off here as I can. That way, you know, at least it'll be look half decent in here. So I'm going to do that. And right there's my new rotor. When you go to put your rotors on, always get a can of brake cleaner. Shoot it really well with brake cleaner and clean the whole thing off. Because when they pack them, they put oil on them to keep them from flash rusting. And if you don't get that oil off and you put them on and you put your pads on, first time you hit it, it'll glaze it right over and you won't have no brakes. So always make sure you clean your rotors off with brake clean. Just buy it in a can, spray it, take a rag, wipe it all off. If you're at least on where the brake pad clamps on. You know, it really don't matter if you get that top hat section there. It don't, but where the pads meet the rotor, make sure you clean that really good with brake clean both sides, front and back, because if there's any contamination on that rotor at all, you're going to have problems with your brakes. It's going to glaze your pads and you're not going to have no brakes. So just a FYI to you. So I'm going to do this, clean this all up, and I'll bring you back when I'm done. Okay, so I'm back. I cleaned it up the best I could. And see, this is why you clean the stuff off, to see what you got. This dust shield shot. So I'm going to go online, see how much they are. I'm sure they're not very expensive, but I'm just going to leave this one on there for now. Make sure that it doesn't hit when I put the rotor on. And I'll probably buy a couple and change it. And I cleaned up here too. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's a little X there. It's like grease pencil or something. I believe this A-arm was out of a junkyard Astro van or something. I think this van was wrecked at one time. There's some other signs on it, like the clear coat at the top, like right along where the top of the windows is and stuff. There's like lines and stuff. So I think someone sideswiped this thing at one time in its life, and they just fixed it and whatever. I really don't care. It runs and drives great. I don't have no problem with it. I only paid $800 for it, so it's not like it's, you know, $1 million vehicle. So, but that's just little things you look for, you know, when you're doing work, so that you get to know your vehicle. I'm gonna clean this and get my brake pads out here. As you can see, you know, you'll always make sure they look like the ones that were on it. Them are the fronts, and these are the backs. You know, check them out. Sorry. They look pretty close. They look like the same thing. So, good to go. I got these off of eBay. The rotors and those pads. I think it's like either $78 or $87 for the two, shipped to my dad's house. Around here, that rotor is probably $40, you know, something like that. At like Napa or whatever, Advance Auto, one of those ones. So, you know, for what you pay for, you know, two rotors, you get the rotors and the pads off of eBay, shipped to your house. I mean, if you need them right then and there, that's different, but, you know, I had time to wait to get them, so you can't beat that, you know. So that's where I get the majority of my parts, is from eBay. I just have my dad order them for me, and they come to his house, and, you know, you get free shipping on stuff and everything, and, you know, it's half the price of what you'd pay around here. So, but anyway, I'm gonna get this cleaned up. I'm gonna get my brake cleaner out of the van, get it back on, get that back on. See a little bit of brake fluid on that hose, but I think it's just stuff that got in there. I'm hoping I don't want to have to change that damn thing. I changed the one on the other side and I don't want to do it again. But I'm gonna do all that. I'll get the rotor ready to go back on and stuff, and I'll put everything back together and I'll show you when I go to tighten up the bolts for the caliper. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay guys, there you go. As you can see, I got the rotor on. It's cleaned up. I have to shoot it a little bit again there. It looks like some stuff on it, but I'll get that cleaned off. Got the pads in, and these are ceramic pads, not the cheaper ones. So, you know, they are a little more expensive pads, but you know, that's what I got with the thing on eBay. So I got the bolts tightened. I took them out. I took some never sees and put on the threads, and I did the shaft of the bolt to, you know, so that it'll move back and forth. You know, a lot of people say not to put never sees on the threads, put thread locker, but I've always put never sees on the bolts on like calipers and stuff like that. I've never had one come out, and it makes it a lot easier when you go to change your brakes the next time. They're not frozen, the bracket or wherever they go into. So that's the way I do it. I'm not telling you to do it that way, but that's my personal way of doing it. But there we go, we're all back together. You can see it floats back and forth good. Everything looks good. And now if I had somebody here, I'd have them help me bleed the brakes and I'd be done with this side, but I'm the only one here, so I'll have to get my father-in-law to help me or wait till my dad gets home to do it. So I'm gonna move on to the other side. It's the same thing, you know, so I won't film that, but this is getting a little long. I'm sure people will be saying that it's too long, but that's how you make them, these videos, you know. You got to show everybody what's going on. So there you go, how to change your front brakes on a 01 Astro van, all-wheel drive. That's how you do it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye.